Inspiration is essential for everything. When a person is sitting and thinking, what an idea, all of a sudden he gets an idea. Maybe the law is like this. Right? He has this beautiful, wonderful idea, writes the thing down, says, you know what, before I write this in book, I'm going to take it to a couple of rabbis and see what they say about this. What do you say about the idea? He said, this is a really genius idea, but it's totally wrong. Look, if you look over here, you see somebody else had that idea, and he explains why it's wrong. He says, whoa, I'm really glad I went to you. Right? I'm glad I went to you because the idea was just so sweet and so beautiful. That's what it means that the elders gave to the prophets. In other words, in addition to the elders, that they had wisdom and they enjoyed learning, they were zikna b'Torah, that they were elders in the Torah. Hechrechid gam maila, you have to have also prophecy. What's prophecy? Fear of God. The main thing of the prophets were that they were totally fearing God. They didn't want to do the wrong thing, and they didn't want to see anybody else do the wrong thing. Nevi'im masru l'anshei knesset gadola. Then the prophets, they gave to the people of the great assembly. What's the people of the great assembly? After the prophets, let's try to say this quickly because the class is almost over. There is even a higher level. We started off with the most simple level, Moshe, totally devotion to Hashem. Then there's like Joshua, like a small child learning Torah. Then we came to the elders. You get a little bit older, you enjoy learning Torah. Then come to the level of the prophets. The prophets, that's fearing God, having a connection to God, fearing God, so that the law is always like you. Then we have what's called the Anshe Knesset Gadola. What's the thing of the Anshe Knesset Gadola? The men of the Great Assembly, they returned the crown of the Torah to the way it was previously. When the Jewish people were put into exile, so they stopped a lot of learning Torah. A lot of people gave up on God. They gave up on Judaism. They thought, that's it, we're finished. The temple is destroyed. We're spread all over the world. Right? The Goyim are ruling over us. They gave up. When everybody came back, right? So people came back, they were ignoramuses. Also there were Jews that were left in Israel. Ezra came back to Israel. Ezra came back to Israel, and he found that the Jews in Israel had intermarried with the non-Jewish women that were dwelling. He told everyone to stand up, divorce your wives, and they all divorced their wives. Told them to divorce they all divorced their wives. Right? But you imagine a person who was to this level, what type of Torah they knew. They didn't know anything. They said that God is not a Gadol, He's not a Gibor, He's not a Nora, right? That God has left us, we have no connection to God anymore, we deserve it. Let's forget about Judaism. He says the Anshe Knesset, the Gadol, they came back and returned the crown of Torah to its source. Shekhin Kesharo, Akum, Meraktim, when they saw that the Goyim were dancing around in the holy temple, people stopped to saying that God was great and wonderful. Where is God's greatness? When they saw the non-Jews were using the Jews for servants, then they stopped saying that God is powerful. In any case, they said that came back the Anshe Knesset Gadola, and they said, this is the greatness of God. Here we are, we're still existing. The Jewish people are surrounded by 70 wolves. We've been in exile now for 70 years. All the Goyim hate us. The Jews want to leave Judaism. The Jews hate themselves. They hate each other. And this has been going on for already 1,000 years, right? And we've been spread out all over the place. We haven't got our own country, we haven't got anything. And here we are, we're still existing. The Jews still exist. That's not a big enough miracle for you? And so they returned the glory of the Torah back. It's like what the Rebbe did after the Holocaust. Right? All the Jews had lost their pride in Judaism. It was a terrible thing to be a Jew. There was no point in it. And the Rebbe came and brought it back. Pride, power. Make Judaism great again. God only has says the only place God has in the world are the boundaries of the law, the Torah. Learning the Torah, this is the chamber, this is the palace of God. It can't come that non-Jews dance in the palace of God. What does it mean? Your Yetzer Hora gets into the Torah. It gets into the law. It's using the fact that the Jews are scattered around to weaken the Torah, to weaken Judaism. Like the Rebbe Rashab said about the Yetzer Hora, the animal soul. It could be that there is a religious animal soul, even a Chassidic animal soul, a Chassidic Yetzer Hora. Even though this causes the Yetzer Hora is very, very hard for the Yetzer Hora to put on tefillin, but it's worth the Yetzer Hora to put on tefillin and to learn Torah and to give beautiful speeches and write books. Why? Because maybe he can get one Jew to go off of the way. Maybe. That's the Anshe Knesset Gedola. The Anshe Knesset Gedola, I'll give you a simple example. The Rebbe talked about Mashiach. Mashiach is the essence of Judaism. Got everybody excited. Mashiach. Everybody's Mashiach. The Rebbe is the Mashiach is here. Go Mashiach. All of a sudden there was Gimel Tammuz, right? Oh, no more Mashiach. Let's not talk about Mashiach. Let's forget about the idea. All of a sudden everything cools off, right? Just like it was when the temple was destroyed. Forget about God. Forget about Judaism. We got to be sort of like everybody else. We got to be friendly, right? We got to be popular. We got to fit in. The people of the Great Assembly, they made a new thing. That when you're talking about that the non-Jews or non-Jewish ideas start dancing around in the Torah, this is the greatest concealment that there can possibly be for Judaism. The Torah itself, when you can use the Torah itself to oppose godliness, not only is you should not be, downcast by this and say, well, look, if these people, then who am I, Not only should it not confuse you, but even more, you should be like the Anshe Knesset Gedola. You come to a place where people don't realize what God is, they don't realize what Torah is, that they don't respect the commandments. Oh, it's a good sign. You have to strengthen them. You have to be positive where nobody else is positive. Don't let their negativity go against your negativity, arouse your negativity. For sure not to be influenced by them, but also don't be against. Here is the chance to be the Anshe Knesset Gedola. Raise godliness up. Be positive. Learning the Torah of the Anshe Knesset Gedola came after all of the previous levels we had. Moshe, total negation to God. Yoshua, total negation to the teachers, to your teachers. The prophets, total fear of God. The elders, enjoying learning the Torah, fear of God. All these levels, but the main thing finally comes to the top, the peak, is the Anshe Knesset Gedola. Namely what? To spread out all these four levels we had before, to inspire others. To inspire others to also be excited and positive about the Torah. Within this darkness, the lowest that we can have, namely that non-Jews are dancing in the Holy of Holies, that non-Jewish ideas have crept into the Torah, we can say this is really God's greatness. The Jews still exist. The Jews are still strong. And now we can understand why the Tana says, Moshe kibel Torah mi Sinai, and he gave it over to the etc. And he said, make a lot of pupils. Hamiru talmidim harbe. Make a lot of pupils. This is the message of the Anshe Knesset Gedola. Don't keep the Torah to yourself. Strengthen Judaism. Make a lot of pupils. And when that happens, the whole world will be illuminated with the light of Hashem, the Torah, Judaism, and Mashiach now.